The sea was restless that evening, its waves crashing against the jagged rocks below the cliffs of Marrow Bay. Emily Hart adjusted her scarf as the salty wind tugged at her hair, her boots crunching along the narrow path leading toward the old lighthouse. She had only arrived in Marrow Bay that morning, having rented the lighthouse's keeper cottage for a month. She wasn't sure why she had come here exactly, only that something in her life needed to change. The town was quiet, the kind of place where strangers didn't pass unnoticed. Locals had warned her about the lighthouse, calling it a place of ghosts and old stories. But Emily had always loved forgotten places. As she pushed open the heavy door of the lighthouse, the scent of aged wood and sea air wrapped around her. Inside, the lighthouse was dim, but still sturdy. Its spiral staircase wound tightly upward toward the lantern room, which had long been extinguished. She spent hours exploring every nook and cranny. It wasn't until night fell that she noticed it. A loose floorboard beneath the window seat overlooking the sea. Curiosity sparked. Emily pried it open carefully, revealing a hidden compartment beneath. Inside was an old wooden box, its corners worn smooth by time. Her heart raced as she lifted it out, dust motes swirling in the pale moonlight filtering through the window. She opened the box slowly, breath held tight. Inside, wrapped in faded blue ribbon, was a thick bundle of letters, their pages yellowed with age but still perfectly intact. Each envelope was addressed in beautiful handwriting. To my dearest. No name, no address. Only those words. Emily's fingers trembled as she opened the first letter, unfolding the delicate paper. The handwriting was elegant, steady. I watch the sea each night, waiting for the light to guide me home. But it is not the ships I long to see, it is your face. The words struck her heart like a chord, each sentence filled with longing and quiet sorrow. The letter was signed simply, "Ever yours, Elias." Emily sat there for hours, reading through the letters, each more beautiful than the last. In them, Elias spoke of storms and solitude, of watching the horizon from the lighthouse, and of a love that seemed to stretch across time and tide. But there was something strange. The letters were dated 1912, more than a century ago. Her breath caught as she realized the truth. She was reading a love story from another era, a story that had been hidden away, waiting for someone to find it. And somehow, deep inside, she felt as if these letters had been waiting for her. As dawn approached, Emily stood by the window, staring out at the restless sea. She clutched the last letter to her chest, her heart pounding with a strange, unexplainable connection. And she knew this was only the beginning. Emily couldn't sleep. The lighthouse creaked softly in the wind, its old bones groaning under the weight of another storm rolling in from the sea. But it wasn't the storm that kept her awake. It was the letters. They haunted her. She had read every one, dozens of pages filled with Elias's words. His longing, his love, his despair. In the letters, he wrote of a woman he called my dearest, though he never named her. His words painted their story vividly: moonlit walks along the cliffs, secret meetings by the harbor, stolen kisses in the fog. But what struck Emily most wasn't just the beauty of the letters, it was the strange familiarity she felt with them. As though she had heard his words before. Or lived them. The next morning, unable to shake the pull of the letters, Emily walked into town to visit the small historical society housed in an old chapel near the harbor. Inside, an elderly woman sat behind the desk, surrounded by books and faded photographs. Morning, the woman greeted warmly. "You must be the one staying at the lighthouse." Emily smiled faintly, her heart pounding. "I am," she said. "I found something there. Some letters." The woman's eyes brightened with curiosity. "Letters?" she asked. "From Elias?" Emily's breath caught. "You know about him?" she asked quickly. The woman nodded, her expression softening. "Everyone here knows the story," she said. "Elias Blackwood. He was the lighthouse keeper over 100 years ago. They say he was a kind man, quiet but devoted." Emily's hands tightened slightly. "And the letters?" she asked, her voice low. The woman leaned forward, lowering her voice as though sharing a sacred secret. "He wrote letters to a woman who vanished," she whispered. "Some say she was a traveler passing through. Others say she drowned at sea. No one really knows." Emily's chest tightened. "They say he kept writing to her long after she disappeared," the woman continued, "even after people stopped seeing him around town." Emily's throat went dry. "What happened to him?" she asked. The woman's gaze grew distant. "One night, the light in the lighthouse went dark," she said softly. "They found the place empty. No sign of him. Just a candle still burning by the window." A chill ran down Emily's spine. "Some say he left," the woman finished, her voice tinged with something wistful. "Others say he's still waiting." Emily left the chapel in a daze, her mind spinning. The storm had grown heavier, the wind howling as she made her way back to the lighthouse. Inside, the letters seemed to call to her from their box. She sat by the window, staring at the waves crashing below. Her heart ached with something she couldn't name. Then, suddenly, she felt it. A presence. She turned sharply, but the room was empty. And yet, the air had shifted. She glanced down at the letters, and her breath caught. There, resting on top of the pile, was a fresh page, one she hadn't seen before. It was dated that very day. Her hands trembled as she read the words, written in the same familiar hand. "I see you there, reading my words. I have waited so long for you." Her heart pounded wildly. "Follow the light," it said. Before she could fully process it, the old lantern upstairs flickered to life, casting a soft, golden glow through the glass windows above. Emily's breath quickened. The letters were no longer just words from the past. They were speaking to her now, calling her somewhere she wasn't sure she wanted to go, but couldn't resist. The spiral staircase groaned beneath Emily's steps as she climbed toward the lantern room. The storm outside raged louder now, rain slamming against the lighthouse windows, wind howling like a chorus of lost voices. But above it all, the glow from the lantern room beckoned her soft, golden, steady. Her heart pounded with every step. She had no idea what she expected to find, but something inside her knew this wasn't merely curiosity anymore. This was fate. At the top, she reached the old wooden door to the lantern room. It was slightly ajar, swaying with the draft. Taking a deep breath, Emily pushed it open. The room was bathed in warm, flickering light. The old lantern, untouched for decades, burned as if freshly lit, casting its glow across the glass walls. And standing in the center, facing the sea, was a figure. Tall, dressed in a long, weathered coat, with dark hair slightly tousled by the breeze slipping through the cracks. He turned slowly. Her breath caught. It was him, Elias. His face was exactly as she had imagined it, strong, thoughtful, with deep-set eyes that seemed to hold both sorrow and hope. But there was something otherworldly about him. His presence was solid, yet translucent, as if he were made of light and shadow woven together. Neither alive nor fully gone. He smiled softly, his gaze steady as it met hers. "I knew you would come," he said, his voice calm and deep, carrying a warmth that settled her racing heart. Emily couldn't speak. She could only stare, every part of her trembling. "You found my letters," he continued, stepping closer. She nodded slowly, her words caught in her throat. He stopped just before her, close enough for her to feel the strange energy radiating from him, neither cold nor warm, but familiar. "I've waited a long time," he said, his voice tinged with quiet sadness. "For someone to find them. For you to find them." Emily finally managed to whisper, "Why me?" Elias's smile deepened, gentle and knowing. "Because it has always been you," he replied softly. Her chest tightened, confusion swirling with something deeper, recognition. "I don't understand," she said, her voice trembling. He reached out, his hand hovering just above hers, not quite touching. "You've walked these cliffs before," he said, his eyes searching hers. "Lived these moments. Loved me once, long ago." The words struck her like a wave. Images rushed through her mind, fragmented memories of standing by the sea, of laughter in the lighthouse, of music drifting through the wind, of love. Deep, consuming love. Her breath hitched. "It was us," she whispered. He nodded. "We were separated before we could finish our story," he said softly. "But I knew you would return." Tears blurred her vision as everything began to make sense. The letters. The pull to the lighthouse. The way her heart had responded to his words. She had been here before. She had loved him before. And now, they stood together again, between past and present. Elias's gaze held hers, steady and patient. "I can stay," he said gently, "but only if you wish it." Her heart raced. "What happens if I do?" she asked, her voice no more than a breath. "The lighthouse will keep us," he said softly. "Together. Forever. In this place where time stands still." Outside, the storm roared louder, the sea thrashing below. Inside, the lantern burned brighter, casting its golden light around them. And in that moment, Emily realized she stood at the edge of two worlds, one where life moved forward without him, and one where she could remain, bound to him and this place, forever. Her heart trembled under the weight of the choice. But her hand reached for his. And the moment their fingers touched, the lighthouse seemed to exhale, glowing brighter than it had in a century. Elias smiled softly, his eyes shimmering with quiet joy. "Then come with me," he whispered. The instant their hands touched, a wave of warmth swept through Emily, soft and powerful, like stepping into sunlight after years of darkness. The lighthouse glowed around them, its walls alive with shimmering light, the storm outside fading into distant whispers. Everything else vanished. All that remained was Elias. He looked at her with such tenderness it made her chest ache. "You've always carried me," he whispered, "even when you forgot." Tears welled in her eyes, but she didn't look away. "I don't want to forget again," she said, her voice trembling but sure. "You won't," Elias promised softly. "Not here. Not now." The room began to shift around them, glowing brighter as the lighthouse transformed before her eyes. The wormwood turned smooth again, the rusted iron shined like new. The lantern above burned with steady, golden fire, casting its light across endless waves beyond the cliffs. It was as if time had turned back. Emily realized she wasn't wearing her modern clothes anymore. She was dressed in a soft, flowing gown, familiar as though it belonged to her all along. Elias's form had shifted too. He was no longer a flicker of light and shadow, but fully real, fully alive. He reached for her hand once more, and this time, there was no barrier between them. "We can stay," he said, his voice warm and steady. "Here, in this moment. Forever." Outside the lighthouse, the storm passed. The sea calmed, the stars appeared above, and the town below slowly faded from sight, as though it were slipping away into another world. Emily's heart ached with longing, but not the kind she had known before. This was peace. Belonging. Love rediscovered, beyond the limits of time. She smiled through her tears. "Yes," she whispered, her voice filled with certainty. "I'll stay." The lantern's light flared one last time, then softened into a warm, eternal glow. And just like that, the lighthouse became something more. No longer abandoned. No longer haunted. It became a beacon of love preserved beyond time, a place where two souls kept their promise to each other. Years later, the people of Marrow Bay still speak of the lighthouse. Some say they see a golden glow there on quiet nights, and two figures standing together at the top, watching over the sea. Others say they hear music drifting down from the cliffs, a soft, haunting melody of violin and piano. But no one ever enters the lighthouse anymore. It stands untouched, its windows always lit, its doors always locked. They call it the Keeper's Light. And they say that those who listen closely can hear the words carried by the wind. Ever yours.